Hello P-Flag, this is Chris Marshall here with you again. Today I want to discuss something similar to last week. Now last week we covered love the sin, hate the sinner approach and how to combat that and the error and the fallacies within that. And this week I want to talk to you more about cognitive dissonance and what's also known as the labeling theory, or what we call in sociology and psychology labeling theory, which is a part of social constructionism. So let's talk about cognitive dissonance first. It's the simplest one. Cognitive dissonance states that it is when you hold a belief, but you do exactly opposite what the belief you have does. Now, as LGBT people and allies of LGBT people and parents of LGBT people, we see this a lot with the Christian right. We see them take something like their bigotry towards gay people and say that that bigotry isn't hatred, it's compassion, it's love, it's tolerance, and it's trying to save them from their life of sin. Yeah. What basically they're doing is they're trying to rationalize their behavior. Now, a lot of these individuals are truly compassionate people. A lot of them do believe they're helping by telling you you're going to hell. I know it doesn't seem right, does it? They don't seem right up here. Technically, they're not, and it's because of how they were taught their whole lives. This type of view that you can love, or the thing that you're being compassionate or saying you're compassionate while you're judging and condemning and damning someone, is a form of cognitive dissonance, where they say they're doing one thing and they're doing another. We see a lot of cognitive dissonance with the anti-gay Incs, National Organization of Marriage, the PFOX, which is a group to counter our P-Flag, which is a joke. We see them with focus on the family. We see them with the different churches, the big ones, the mega churches, like Rick Warren's Saddleback Church, where they say that they are loving gay people, they're loving gay people, but in reality they are condemning us. And they will tell you, they'll say, we are loving and compassionate people, but really? They're not. They're not really. I mean, if you look at them, it's not really compassionate. It's pretty hateful, the things that they come out with. So that's just cognitive dissonance. Saying one thing, or believing one thing, and doing another. Saying you love gay people while you condemn them and fight against their rights. And then trying to rationalize it. And that is where labeling theory comes in. Labeling theory states that those given a label, or things given a label, have a certain value. And that value is determined by people. If you're a human being and you're labeled as bad, or you're labeled as an out-group, you automatically are stuck there, normally. If you're labeled a criminal, you're a criminal, like that. Pedophile, like that. Everyone knows what you are. You're a bad, sick, mean person. Murderer, same thing, unless you're a war hero, like me, then you're not a murderer, even though I call myself I am. You're a hero. But, cognitive dissonance coming in there, We call people who kill other people murderers. We call people who are forced to kill people heroes. But the label, and there's labeling theory right there. I'm labeled a hero because I served. So, yeah. What happens, though, is we're giving labels, mostly without our permission, mostly by society, and we're stuck. With gay people, it's being labeled gay, or homosexual, or bisexual, or lesbian, or transgender, or transsexual. And those labels, they don't go away because that's who you are. You can't fight it. You can't fight your own label. But the thing with labeling theory is that it says that with people, we then categorize, group, and sometimes marginalize and discriminate because of those labels. And we certainly do against gay people. Because of those labels, we marginalize them, we marginalize gay people, we discriminate against them, and we treat gay people as they're less than human. Anyone here who's lived in a state that their rights have gotten taken away can tell you how much it feels like you're not human sometimes to these people. In Michigan, we had a huge scare not too long ago where they were going to strip the very little 10 rights we got for domestic partnerships because the state needs to save money while giving the corporate welfare. And their excuse is that we're not that important because there's not many of us, and we don't have many relationships because we're not stable. Because the connotations of being gay is unstable, unhealthy. These are all the things that got brought up. I was sick to my stomach when I heard them say this crap. But because we're labeled as gay, LGBT, that's what happens. So that's kind of labeling theory in a nutshell. It is basically the labels given to you by society, and and how people treat you because of those labels. And then there's a second part, how you treat yourself because of those labels. Labeling theory, being labeled can also make you fall into what's called stereotype threat. And stereotype threat is basically the anxiety you feel. The anxiety you feel for confirming a stereotype because of who you are. And let me tell you, a lot of gay people have this. Especially in the professional workforce. You freaking fear your ass off that you're going to confirm a stereotype. And someone's going to go, ah, haha, you gay people are like that. Yeah. Other minorities also face the same thing. And labeling theory itself makes us sometimes conform to those labels, and therefore we become more deviant. And deviant is not a bad word. It means that we are not like the norm. We are not like the population on a bell curve or at the ends. Geniuses are deviant. So if it makes you feel better, people who are geniuses on this side, and yes, people who are retarded on the other side, they're deviant because they're not in the middle of the bell curve with a normal distribution. They're not in the middle. They're near the ends. And gay people are like that. We're near the ends. This whatever end, I don't know. But in the center, if it's heterosexual, or basically by population with people, if the middle's heterosexual, it's going to go like this. So we are deviant. And that is, and sadly, that has become a label that has become negative towards the gay community, but in a scientific sense, it's not a negative term. It just means you're different. And when you're different, it's hard in life. We all know this. So the second part, though, we got that covered, and that's basically within labeling theory, you also sometimes might confirm the stereotypes, or you might follow the labels. That's pretty sad. So now we covered basically what cognitive dissonance is, brought in some good examples of cognitive dissonance, even used it with our next part. We talked a little bit about labeling theory. At least the two parts of it. There can be more depth in this. It could be an hour-long lecture on this, but I will not bore you with that. Take what I've told you today, apply it to what you do in real life. Apply it to how you use, how you pertain your knowledge, how you gain your knowledge, how you express your knowledge about who you are, about your family, about your friends, about your loved ones. Don't be afraid. Break those stereotypes down. That's the only thing we can do right now, is to break the stereotypes down. That's the one thing that we need to combat. By coming out, by being proud of who we are, by showing that our parents are proud of us, we win. So that is everything I have to say today, guys. I'll see you next week. This is Chris Marshall, signing out with P-Flag Big Rapids.